It was a scrimmage weekend at Georgia. We got about 2 weeks before G Day. Let's talk about what we learned during the scrimmage and kind of what it means, if anything. There were a lot of guys that stepped up. It sounds like, and if you read what we were hearing on Dog Post, and it is something that you should sort of require reading. If you're watching this, why aren't you reading what we're hearing on the site? Um, it was a good day for the quarterbacks, I think, generally speaking. I think globally, it was a better day for the offense than it was the defense. Now, let me tell you how this works for us typically, okay? Um, the folks that we talk to don't normally, we don't really talk to them typically until a little bit later on Saturdays when these things happen. A lot of times, it takes us a little bit of time to gather information, um, which is a pretty common thing if you're vetting things. I don't really run with stuff that's more than that's fewer than two people saying something similar to the same thing. And that's sort of the dichotomy of it, but I know y'all don't care about that. But it sounds like it was a good day for the quarterbacks. And one thing that I talk about, you can read it over on what we were hearing, is this paragraph. It sounds like Stetson Bennett was went the first couple drives to the ones, and while that was going on, and the twos came out there. Carson Beck was with the twos typically. We were told by multiple folks that Brock Vandegrift threw three scores, and he managed to throw them one with the ones, one with the twos, and one with the threes. The insiders, one insider said that Stetson Bennett had two noticeable scrambles, and that there was only one interception for all of the quarterbacks in one day. The interesting thing is, well, interesting for us, is that the scramble, that was in the highlights the next day that Georgia released. So I feel, as usual, pretty good about that source, because they were pretty, well, not that they're not dead on about things to begin with. We're giving away a book that Stetson signed. Let me try to get to that image just real quick. I think this is it right here. Nope. Oh, well, there it is. Oh, here we go. And there's Stetson signing it. It's on this page that we've talked about a little bit. That's an image from Dylan Weber right after the national championship game. We still have not done the video talking about our day and what we plan to do that day and why we got this really great image of Stetson. That's Jordan. I got a picture of Jordan with the book too. Just excuse me, laughing about it. But we are giving that away. But you've got to buy the book before April 9th at midnight. If you don't get it before 11:59, you're not eligible to get the signed copy from Stetson. But let's get back to the scrimmage. Okay, the scrimmage was again better for the offense. The defense is what people thought. We haven't talked to Kirby about it since, because he did his weekly what's the term? His weekly appearance with the media on Thursday rather than Saturday. The other thing that stood out to some folks, someone just got a book. Appreciate that. They are eligible to get the Stetson signed book. The other thing that stood out to folks watching the day were a few of the pass receivers. By the way, I should also have this caveat in here too. Folks usually pay attention to the offense a little bit more than they do the defense, I guess unless they're defensive guys, but most folks are offensive guys, and that's what they're watching. And there are a few offensive guys that did make plays. Eric Gilbert is the one that a lot of people are talking about. So he's still with the tight ends. I don't know that that's going to change. Right now, it's the best fit for a few different reasons. Number one, his size, but more than that, because his size is going to get kind of where it needs to go. More than that, there's just not a lot of tight ends right now, and Georgia's tight ends can flex out. There's so much stuff that they can do. Eric Gilbert has had a good spring insofar as we can tell. Now we're about a little bit past midway point. The other person that had a good day was Dominic Blaylock, and this is from the report. In addition to Gilbert's strong outing, we're hearing that Dominic Blaylock had a nice scrimmage from multiple folks that were able to watch the event. Well, when we talked to folks, the same thing came up, which was that Eric Gilbert had a good day and Don Blaylock had a good day. So those two guys, one person that we trust a lot said that Ladd McConkey and Marcus Rosemy Jack Saint had good days too. They were called standouts by this person. So, what does all of this mean? The offensive line, it seems like is getting figured out a little bit. Willock is in there. You also have the capability to put Truss in there. You've got a lot of options on the offensive side of the ball. Um, let me talk about that for a second before I get to the defensive side. If you can set your offensive line, you can do so much from there. There's so much that you don't have to worry about when you already have your offensive line set. And let's keep in mind that their center and the two tackles are probably kind of getting locked in. The question is, who will be the guards? And, honestly, I say all that, and then I wonder where and how does Amarius Mims fit into this thing? Because you've got this structure. There's only 5 offensive linemen, all right? And Broderick Jones seems to be playing pretty well at left tackle. There's still a real fight at guard. And because because Mims is probably a better tackle than guard, does that mean that he's in more of a fight at guard with people who are playing guard, whether that's Erickson, Truss, Willock, etc. Obviously, Ratledge is not out there yet, but he will be in the fall, I think. That's the question. Are all those things, where does Mims fit into things? Because a lot of people feel like he is a very gifted player. Does it make more sense for Mims to play left tackle in the fall and have Broderick come in at left guard? I don't know. These are the problems that Stacy Searles, Kirby, and company, Todd Monken, are going to have to discuss. It's not a bad problem to have. When Stacy was here back in the day, he didn't have this problem. John Theus had to come in and immediately play. Okay, there wasn't development for a top 5 prospect. Didn't happen. So, and yet they still nearly won the national championship in 2012. That's not where this program's at right now. So that's something to monitor. What about the defensive side of the ball? Well, Dumas Johnson, I hope I didn't accidentally say his name offensively, but I have been thinking about him. He's someone that people are talking about. Keely Ringo, I think, had a pretty good day. Here's from what we're hearing is right here. It says, from what we understand, Keely Ringo stood out in the secondary and had a nice hit on Kendall Milton. Keely's going to have a challenging fall because the money's on the table. He will be the guy that gets the number ones from the other team if they have number ones. So it's go time for Keely Ringo. Deion Kendrick's not around to help shoulder the load. It's a challenging moment for Keely Ringo for sure. But I think he did have a day, according to folks that we talked to. Dumas Johnson stood out as well, according to people we talked to. Now, again, the caveat: folks, they see a scrimmage. That's one snippet. It's a moment in time. It's 1/15th of spring. It is a leading indicator. It is not the entire thing. In some cases, this might not even be a leading indicator. But if you're with the ones, you're probably playing pretty well. My take from the scrimmage was it looks to me more like Stetson. Stetson, by the way, was described by many people as having a good day. I wish I could have talked to one more person about Stetson's day, but went straight to voicemail. These things happen. I think Stetson had a good day. I think the quarterbacks, generally speaking, had a pretty good day. Now, we didn't put this in a report, and I really shouldn't say it here, but I do think that Gunnar Stockton had a tougher day than everybody because the typical head is swimming comment was made by at least one person. Totally believe that. Well, I didn't see it, but I totally believe that. So I think what I've been told for a while now, since January, is that they really feel good or confident about the offense. Those aren't the words they're using. That's the way I'm putting it in discussing things with people. I think Georgia feels good about their offensive situation. Where this all balances up over time, that's harder to know. I mean, we still don't have everything. Brock Bowers is not out there. Tate Ratledge is out there. Is not out there. Washington is not out there. There's a lot of missing parts right now that are not out there. But I would love to know what to really expect from Bear Alexander. There's a lot of discussion about the five-star defensive line prospect that's not Bear Alexander. I don't know why I can't. I don't know what's going on with me today that I cannot easily say names. But Mikael Williams said that one easy enough. But where do Williams and Jones? How do they fit into things? What about Everett? We don't know yet, right? And we might not know until the Oregon game at the end of the day. But it's just what it is, and that's where we are. I think it was a positive scrimmage for the most part, but we'll just see where it goes and take it from there. Hey, don't miss out on this opportunity. You only got about 6 days left to get one of these books that's going, and if you get a book, you are immediately eligible to get the book that's signed by Stetson. When you buy you'll get this Stetson book in addition to the book that you get. I can't keep up with. I'm not going to hold everybody's book back for a week. In fact, many are going out in the near future here. So what I mean by that is when I get done with this, I am putting them in the mail. So uh, take advantage of this. There's only 4 of these books out there right now. I'm giving you one. Take advantage. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the website. G-Day coming soon.